Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting aspects of Kengan on Roblox, traits. You know how in this game, becoming the strongest isn't just about raw power or flashy moves, right? It's all about those hidden boosts, those passive abilities that can totally change the way you play. Traits are your secret weapon to getting ahead and dominating your opponents. So, if you've ever wondered which ones are worth grinding for and which ones you should probably skip, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're breaking down all the traits in Kengan, ranking them from the absolute best to the ones that, let's just say, might not be worth your time. Whether you're new to the game or just looking to fine-tune your strategy, stick around because we're about to help you make the best choices for your build. Trust me, these traits can make all the difference when you're trying to flex on your opponents and rise to the top. Let's get started. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking traits in Kengan. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The traits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Fast Recovery, Block Breaker, Parry Monsoon, Parry Punisher, Brawler, Agile, Tank, Speeder, Thievery, Resiliences, and Cold-Blooded. So let's dive into some of the C tier traits in Kengan, the ones you'll probably want to move away from as you level up, but hey, they're still decent in the early stages. First up, Fast Recovery. This one gives you a 5% boost to your regen, which sounds great on paper, but later on, that extra regen won't make a massive difference when you're facing tougher opponents. Early game though, it's solid if you're just trying to stay alive and keep that health bar up. But trust me, you'll want to swap it out later when fights get intense. Now, Block Breaker is a sneaky little trait. 5% chance to guard break on M1s sounds small, but it can be handy, especially if you're the type who loves spamming those basic attacks. That said, 5%, it's not exactly the most reliable thing. You might be better off picking something with more consistent damage as you progress. It's a fun early game perk, but don't get too attached to it. Let's not forget about Parry Punisher. Perfect blocking is already a skill that takes a bit of finesse, and this trait adds a little extra flavor by causing more stun if you're quick with your blocks. But here's the thing, how often are you perfectly blocking in a high pressure fight, back to back? Exactly. It's one of those traits that sounds cool, but might leave you hanging when the heat is on. Finally, we've got a few stat boosters like Brawler with % extra damage, Tank giving you 5% more durability, and Speeder for 3% more speed. These are all nice boosts, but the numbers are pretty low for the long haul. They're not terrible, but you'll definitely feel their limitations once you're in those late game battles where every little stat point counts. So yeah, use them early, but don't hesitate to upgrade when the time comes. The traits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Adaptation, Bodybuilder, Lotasi, Low Metabolism, Royalty, Gang Loyalty, Businessman, Enhanced Mind, Guardian, Revolting Perfection, Death Dealing, and Peaceful Mind. Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the real underdog traits of Kengan. The B tier ones that might not blow your mind at first glance, but trust me, they've got some sneaky potential. These are the traits that, at first, might feel like you're just settling for them, but when used in the right situation, they're game changers. Think of them like a dark horse in a race. They might not look like much, but once they get going, yeah, you'll wish you hadn't underestimated them. First up, Adaptation. Simple name, straightforward ability, 10% more stats. Is it flashy? No, but you know what it is? Reliable. When you're in those early stages, scraping for every tiny boost you can get, this trait has your back. Think of it like a quiet, unassuming friend who's always there when you need them. Doesn't make a scene, but somehow always comes through when things get tight. Now, Bodybuilder and Low Metabolism might sound like they belong in a fitness app, but in Kengan, these two are your go-to for tweaking your build. You want to bulk up with muscle? Bodybuilder's giving you 15% more, making your character pack a bit more punch. Prefer to store some fat to get a bit tankier? Low Metabolism has you covered with a chunky 15% fat gain. It's all about how you want to roll, my friend. Customizing your character's stats this way might seem small, but it's like putting that extra bit of seasoning in your favorite dish. The flavor pops, and suddenly, it's a whole new experience. Speaking of popping, Revolting Perfection is the trait that sounds like it's straight out of a villain's monologue, but it's got a hidden trick. 10% chance for your skill cooldown to be cut in half. Yeah, you heard that right. Imagine mid-fight, you're about to get wrecked, but boom, that crucial skill's ready again. It's like finding a $20 bill in your pocket when you thought you were broke. Pure magic. Not reliable, sure, but when it hits, man, it hits. And finally, let's talk gang loyalty and death dealing. They sound like polar opposites, right? With gang loyalty, you're taking it easy on your gang by dealing 30% less damage to them. A bit of a pacifist, aren't we? But then we've got death dealing, which is all about going hard, doing more grip damage to finish off enemies. These traits really make you choose a side. Are you a peacekeeper or a finisher? Either way, it's a trait that helps define your playstyle. So yeah, B tier may not scream powerhouse right off the bat, but play these traits right, and you've got yourself a solid foundation for early game domination. The traits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Hand of Midas, Superhuman Syndrome, Fists of the Wind, Dark Embrace, Murderous Intent, Heavenly Restrictions, Draining Fist, and Flash Steps. You know what's better than throwing a punch? Throwing a punch and getting paid for it. Yeah, I'm talking about the Hand of Midas. This trait is the moneymaker's dream, giving you a juicy 60% more cash from jobs. Whether you're hustling on the streets or getting down in the ring, this is the trait that lets you flex your wallet and your muscles. It's like being a pro fighter and getting a fat bonus every time you knock someone out. Who doesn't want that, right? Now, for those of you who want to go full Hulk mode, we have the Superhuman Syndrome. It's not just a catchy name. This bad boy gives you 20% more muscle scaling. Imagine your punches hitting harder and harder with every gym session. It's like the game just told you, here, take this and become a walking wrecking ball. But seriously, if you're the type who likes to be the biggest, baddest guy in the room, this trait's your ticket to Muscleville. And then there's Fists of the Wind, which sounds poetic, but trust me, it's all about speed. You get 20% more combat speed, which means you're basically moving faster than your opponents can think. The catch? You deal 10% less damage. But let's be real, what good is a punch if they dodge it, right? Speed kills, my friends, and with this, you're going to be dancing around your opponents like it's a ballet, except with more broken bones. Okay, let's talk about playing it smart with Dark Embrace. This one's for those oh crap, I'm almost dead moments. When your HP drops below 50%, you get 10% damage resistance, which might just save your skin. But here's the kicker. It's got a 10-minute cooldown, so don't expect it to bail you out twice in one fight. Think of it like a second wind, but you gotta use it wisely. Last but definitely not least is the trait that will turn you into an absolute maniac, Murderous Intent. This trait gives you a whopping 40% more damage and 20% more speed. Sounds amazing, right? Well, hold up, you also get hit with 50% less health and stamina. It's the ultimate glass cannon move. You'll hit like a truck, but you'll go down faster than a house of cards if you're not careful. High risk, high reward, and let's be honest, it's a trait for the true adrenaline junkies out there. The traits in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Mastered Thief, Pacifist, Mastered Recovery, True King, Anti-Superman Syndrome, Mechanical Heart, Strong Heart, Iron Fist, Divine Conditioning, Phoenix, Second Awakening, and Blood Pact. Let's talk about the S tier traits in Kengan. These bad boys are the cream of the crop, offering some seriously powerful advantages that can turn the tide of battle in your favor. First up, we have Mastered Thief. This trait is perfect for those who love a little side hustle. With a 30% increase in cash from robbing, you'll be rolling in the dough before you know it. Imagine sneaking around and grabbing loot while your opponents are busy trying to figure out how to defeat you. Now that's a win-win. Next, let's check out Pacifist. You might think this trait sounds a bit odd for a battle game, but trust me, it's a gem. This one slows down your hunger depletion, letting you focus on what really matters, outsmarting your opponents instead of constantly munching on snacks. It's like having a secret advantage while everyone else is busy hunting for food. Plus, who wouldn't want to be the calm one in a chaotic fight? Now, for the heavy hitters, we can't forget True King. This trait grants you a whopping 15 seconds of increased durability, which is a game changer when the chips are down. On top of that, it negates 30% of incoming damage and even grants you a slash attack. It's the perfect balance of offense and defense, letting you stand your ground while dishing out some serious pain. It's like being a tank with a sword. What's not to love? Let's not skip over the Phoenix trait. This one is an absolute lifesaver. You get 4 free hits before you hit the ground. That's right, 4. So, if you're ever in a tight spot, you can afford to take a few punches and still have a fighting chance. It's like having an extra life in a video game, which is always a great feeling when you're neck deep in battle. Last but certainly not least, we have Blood Pact. This trait gives you a 35% boost in durability, which is incredible for taking hits. But here's the catch. Once it runs out, you'll pass out unless your opponent is defeated. It's a high risk, high reward scenario that can lead to some epic comebacks. You either come out on top or risk hitting the mat. And honestly, isn't that what makes Kengan so thrilling? The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.